This will be our last topic in object-oriented programming part, and from the next topic, because it might take another lecture. From the next topic, we will move on to object-oriented analysis, object-oriented design part. So basically, we will more talk about the uh, from the software engineering perspective. So what is object-oriented design? We will discuss. We have already discussed class diagrams, and we will discuss other modeling techniques like state modeling, state diagrams, interaction diagrams, and the more advanced class diagram activity sequence and other diagrams that you can use for design purpose. We will follow UML, Unified Modeling Language, for designing the various models of OAD. So basically, you can follow object-oriented modeling and design with UML uh, book for the upcoming lectures. Though I will share the PPTs and all other notes on the classroom also. So the last topic of from the programming side, we have collection frameworks. And let me share you the slides. One second. Okay. So this will be our last topic. Okay. One second. Okay. So coming back to the collection framework. So this will be the, I think, the last topic of programming part. Uh, you must have seen the array from the slides. Earlier we have discussed in one of the class where we store objects of same type array, and normally it is indexed from an integer value starting from 0, and the length is actually number of elements in the array. And normally the declaration part in the Java, we use type and the square brackets, name, new, type, and the length we have given on the right hand side. So right hand side, that will create an array of that particular length. Length explicitly provided, all elements value initially are 0. Uh, you can also use the initializer list to create and initialize an array together. It infers from the length. So normally, if you provide an initializer list, it infers the length from the number of value provided. So this we have already discussed uh, with the array. So the basic limitations of array, that size, we cannot change the size as after the array has been constructed. No built-in way to print the arrays. We cannot directly print it. No built-in way to insert or remove an element. We have to iterate it, and we have to put it using basic iteration and loops. No search feature, no sort feature, no easy duplicate detection or removal. Again, we have to write the logic, and we have to do it manually. Inconsistent syntax with other objects, that is, like you have length in a string, and here length is a member element versus size and all. So uh, for some of these disadvantages, we have actually collection of collection of inbuilt classes and interface that provides you three things. So a basic data structures that implement those collection interfaces and that have some basic algorithms of search and other things. Add, remove, and other you have basic algorithms of these data structures, and the collection class that can hold different type of objects. So objects that is stored data inside it is called the collection. So then normally with the collection you can perform basic basic operations like search, delete, or, or remove, basically add, clear, whether it contains or not, size of that particular collection. Uh, it might be possible some collection maintain orders of element, or some may allow duplicates, some may not. Uh, Similar to the Python language that you have seen, you have set, map, and list, set, map, and other basic data structures. So here we have a collection framework. So some of the collection frameworks, like we have array list, linked list, hash map, tree set, priority queue. These are all there as a inbuilt classes, and all belongs to import. Sorry, all belongs to utility package. So this is the hierarchy of. This is not the complete. Actually, this is not the complete hierarchy. It gives you a basic idea how what are the main classes we have. So iterable is the topmost level interfaces, and that is implemented. That is extended by the collection, and in collection we have a list, queue, and set interface, and those interfaces are implemented in various classes like array list, linked list, vector. The stack is there, an array double-ended queue, which basically implements linked list and DQ. So you have a queue interface in which you have priority queue and DQ. So here the blue color showing that these are the interfaces, and the orange shows these are the classes. And obviously the dotted arrow is showing that it is implementing, or uh, solid arrow denoting it is extending. So if we talk about apps, so all the classes interface are basically the abstract data types, the specification of collection of data and operation that can perform on it. So basically, like stack and queue are the abstract data type. So together with the data and the operation that can be performed on the data, we can call it an abstract data type. Even if your class is basically even a user defined class is also an abstract data type. So in Java collection framework, we have interfaces that describes the abstract data types. And topmost level interface is a iterable, which is implemented by the collection, and some various interfaces, DQ, list, map, queue, and sets. Now and any abstract data type can be implemented in multiple ways. So for example, the list, uh, which is one of the abstract data type, can be implemented in case so uh, as a array list or linked list, or a set can be implemented as a hash set or tree set, or queue can be implemented as a linked list or array DQ. Now, how we construct a collection? So basically, we write interface name, the type, and now so this actually the type and the angular brackets are actually denoting the generic concept or the generic facility provided in Java. Normally, it was introduced after the Java, I think 5.0. Yeah, 1.5 edition of Java. So basically, these are generic concept in Java is actually used to uh, allow various methods or uh, to uh, to create various classes that can work on the different types of objects. So basically, creating a strong type of method or class, instead of creating a strong type of method class, you can create a generic classes or generic methods. Normally, what you do, you write interface name, and you create an object of that using new keyword. And when you write class name, and the type of object it contains, you write the type there, and that type can be inbuilt data types or the classes that you use. So inbuilt, so basic data types के जो classes are wrapper classes that you can use, or the user defined classes also you can use. So you basically define the type of element in between those angular bracket. And so basically this is called a type parameter or a generic class. So define a generic class, so that your abstract data type can hold this type of objects. So it allows the same, maybe, so here we have written array list. So in case of array list, it can store different types of objects. So for example, you have created list of a string type. The list name of the list is name is equal to new array list, the string, and this brackets. So that will create a list specified by names, and you can perform various methods like add. So you can call a method on this object name add, and then add. You can pass different elements into it. One thing is you can also write without the generic. So you can also write list name is equal to new array list name, but that will be a strong type array list that will hold only one type of data. So यूजिंग जेनेरिक. सो देयर आर टू क्वेश्चन. अगर अगर आप यहाँ पे देखोगे तो यहाँ पे मैंने क्या किया है कि लिस्ट विच इज़ अ इंटरफेस का यूज़ किया है, और हमने यहाँ पे इसको एरे लिस्ट के ऑब्जेक्ट पे रेफर किया. सो राइट हैंड साइड पे वी हैव क्रिएटेड एन ऑब्जेक्ट ऑफ एरे लिस्ट एंड वी हैव referred it using a list reference. So first question is, why we want more than one kind of list? And the second question is, why declare our variable using interface type, that is list? So what do you think? Okay, so for first question you can avoid it. It's trivial to understand, but for the second question, क्योंकि हमने पहले भी पढ़ा है, why you declare why you want to declare variable using interface type rather than the class type, that is array list? Why we are not writing array list is equal to new array list and this? Why we are writing list and we are assigning to a specific class object? Can anybody tell on the chat box? तो उस इंटरफेस को इम्प्लीमेंट करने के लिए तो वी डोंट हैव टू राइट इट. बेसिकली यू कैन राइट जस्ट implement list on the class declaration. So class array list implement list. We are actually okay. Another, there is polymorphism. Yes, polymorphism, runtime polymorphism, but actually why we do that, because the program could be changed to use a different implementation. So you can just change the reference of that list variable without modifying, without needing to change the code much. So you can just basically change the reference to other type, and your list will be changed to a different implementation. And okay, so why we need different implementation also? That is why we need array list and linked list. So basically, array list is so list के हमारे पास multiple type हो गए, एक array list भी है, linked list भी है. So obviously, for some case, array list is faster for adding and removing at the end, and linked list is faster for adding and removing at the front or middle. You can choose the optimal implementation for your task. So particular task के base पे हम either you can use particular implementation of the abstract data type, that is list. List के आपके particular program में जो user उसके हिसाब से आप एक particular optimal implementation you can choose. And if the rest of your code is written to use the edit interface, it will work. So basically, it is already built-in classes are there for array list and linked list. Depending on the task, you can select that particular list, and that will work. So if we talk about a specific list, so list a collection stored in ordered sequence. So this is important, ordered sequence of element. Each element is accessible by a zero base indexed. A list has a size. Obviously, element can be added in the front, back, and or any particular place. In Java, it is represented by the list interface. It is implemented by the array list and the linked list classes. So there are two classes, array list and linked list, that implements the list interface. And that interface that declares these type of methods like constructor. Now you see the constructor and there is only bracket. Okay, so it creates a new empty list. In the constructor, you have a bracket, you pass any other set or list, it will create based on that. So, or set based on a element of another list. Add add the value at the end of list. If you want to add at a particular index, you can pass another argument of another overload method of add, first index, and then the value. Clear, that removes all the element from the list. If you want to return the index, and basically the first index कि जब पहली बार ही वो आए, you want to check the index of the value, then you can use index of get. Particular index पे आपको value चाहिए तो you can use get. So basically, instead of creating an array where you have to write each and every method by your own using basic iteration and loops, you can use array list and you can work with the various type of objects. You can create array list of different type of objects, and you can use these methods to directly access, iterate, remove, add the objects from the array list or the linked list. And these are all the methods: add all, overloaded two methods, and the iterator methods. So iterator method is also, so iterator is actually declared in the iterable class and from iterable interface, and the iterable interface say it comes into collection interface, and from the collection interface to it comes to the list interface. Last index of remove all, these are the methods that you have in the list interface, and the implementation of list interface are the array list or the linked list. So array list is similar to the array, but the basic difference is it is dynamic. It can be resized dynamically. So array list is built using an internal unfilled array and a size field to remember how many elements have been added. So it keeps track of size of the array list also. Linked list is built using a chain of small nodes objects जो आपने data system पढ़ा है, and it also keep track of size of the list. A simple example, if you want to just create an array list. You can create an array list. First, you have to import a util package and then class name. Here on the fourth line, this is important. So you are creating an array list. This is a strong type array list. We have not used generic type. You can use the generic type so that it can handle different types of objects. And using add method, you are adding two objects and using iterator. So there's no need of iterator. You can also use the uh, for loop to iterate through the array list. You can, or you can use the basic implementation of iterator that is actually used to iterate over the objects of various collection frameworks. So it provides you two methods basically, has next and next. These are the two methods that you uh, use inside the when you iterate over the over a collection. So with the ITRA, you have created an object. So through ITRA, you can call hasNext method and next method, and you can use to iterate over the array list. So this is the simplest example of array list. One example for the linked list also. So here you have created a linked list. You are specified generic class string, so it will hold the string type of objects, and you're adding the element like Rachit, Rahul, Rajat, and with the iterator, you can iterate over the list. Similarly, stacks and queues. So we are not going to detail of stacks and queues because you already know about it. But in collection frameworks, we have a stack inbuilt collection class. So stack here E is defined the type of element that you want to add or push in the stack. Push function has a trivial meaning to add the values in the stack. Pop if you want to remove the top element from the stack. However, this throws an empty stack exception if stack is empty. So you have to handle it. Peaks return the top value from the stack without removing it. So it just return the top value peak. It also throw empty stack exception. So if stack is empty, then it will throw an exception. Size, it returns the number of elements. Size is empty, return the true if stack has no element. So syntax wise, you can define a stack using a stack, and you can define the type of element. So here we are using wrapper class integer, and you're creating a stack S using new stack in wrapper class integer, and and you can perform this operation on this particular stack. So basically you're pushing 42, then -3, and then 17, and this is your actually the top. The 17 will be the top. And if you pop, so just the illustration of pop and push operation on the stack. Similarly, queue, you have interface queue, and you can implement queue using either array list or linked list. So linked list is providing the implementation of queue. You can add it, you can remove it. So some of the functions like add and remove peak, that will return the front value from the queue without removing it. Size and is empty to check whether your queue is empty or not. So uh, so obviously, so okay, so आप बताओगे मुझे कि ये क्यों करते हैं. So last line is written that when constructing a queue, you must use a new linked list object instead of queue object. Why? Okay, so basically you cannot create the object of an interface. So there's another, apart from list, there's another collection called set, and a set is collection of unique values, and they should be set and ordering. If you want to have an order, so you can use tree set or linked hash set. So for example, here if you are creating a normal hash set, it will store the element in unpredictable order. So for example, here it is given. You have a variable names of set interface, and you are referring it to elements are in the string, and you are adding the value using that method. And you just print names, so it will return in any order that might not be known a priori. So you don't know किस order में आएंगे. Tree set, if the elements are stored in their natural sorted order. So if you created a set using tree set constructor, tree set object, then it will store in a natural sorted order. In case of strings, it will store in as per the alphabetical order. In linked hash set, element is stored in the order of insertion. So here, if you store, let's say, okay, so if you insert Jack, Robert, Marissa, and Casey, then the element will be stored in that order of insertion in linked hash set. Now, if you want to store object of your own class in a tree set, then because instead of using wrapper classes like string, integer, character, and double, if you want to store object of your user defined classes in the tree set, then you have to actually implement the comparable interface also to compare uh, the objects, because in case of string, the natural ordering is alphabetical ordering. In case of numbers, you can compare the values, but in case of user defined classes, you you have to define the criteria on based on which you can compare the objects. For that, you have to implement the or actually define the compare to method. So in that case, and there is a constraint. So if you define it, uh, your compare to method must return three values. If you value which will be less than 0, if this object comes before the other object, other means जो passed on object है वो, और जो जिससे कॉल किया गया है वो आपका this object. Value you can return greater than 0 if this object comes after the other objects, and and this object is considered equal to other objects, then you can return 0. So this 3 returns you have to use based on the comparison criteria that you are putting in. So basically compare to में जो भी आप compare का criteria रख रहे हो आपकी class के objects के लिए, you have to return 3 cases. The for each loop, so for each जो loop जो for का हमने एक advanced iteration version देखा था जहाँ पे हम for type name and collection state, instead of conventional for loop that is for and then the initialization and then condition and the iteration increment, उसकी जगह आप इसको भी use कर सकते हो. It provides a clean syntax for looping over the element of set, because obviously set have no indexes, so you can't get element I and you can iterate I+1 नहीं कर सकते. तो basically जो increment वाला concept है आप नहीं कर सकते क्योंकि index है ही नहीं set में. So you can use for each loop version to iterate over the, or to basically iterate or to access the elements of set. So for example, here it is provided a set grades which is implemented using hash set class, and all the elements of the grades you are using for each element, for each loop basically, to iterate over all the, or to loop over all the elements of the grades. So since it does not provide, so it doesn't have any indexing in set, so you have to use the for each, or you can use even you cannot use iterator also. So it's better to use for each in case of set. And the set implementation हम देखिए either it will be a tree set or a hash set. These are the basic basic collection frameworks. So basically you have list interface that provides some methods, and the implementation classes are array list and linked list, and you can make it generic type, that is you can store different type of objects in array list. Also you have set that is implemented either as a hash set or tree set or the linked hash set, and each of these three implementation have their own benefits in terms of complexity, in terms of operations. uh, and some more classes like stack and queue are there that are based on the array list or the linked list. These are the two basics abstract data types in the collection framework. So if you have any question, you can ask. Otherwise, this is the end of the lecture. And that will be the end of the object-oriented programming part. So we are not going to cover now any programming part. We will study the object-oriented design part from the software engineering concepts perspective. And basically, we will follow UML notations for designing or to understanding the various diagrams involved in object-oriented programming. And also one more thing, for each theoretical concept like a state diagram or class diagram or activity or sequence diagram, I will upload the slide, you read it, understand it, and then we will discuss over it in the next classes. Okay, thank you. कोई question है तो you can write it there on the